We just found out that we are two big balls taking life by the horn. By the what?
Horns.
Yeah, we're two big balls taking life by the horns. I don't know what the fuck that means. Excuse my expression, but I don't know what the hell. Anyway, welcome aboard, everybody, on a lovely Monday morning. Good morning to Greg in Unholy Toledo, and Kevin Hastings and George. We'll see George tonight at his lovely time. I believe that's 6:30. We got Kevin coming on at 11, and up next we have Arnie. So we got a full slate of programming today. Arnie up next, Kevin at 11, a new time for Kevin, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And then tonight we got George, so stay with us. What are you doing? Andrea has absolutely freaked out, okay? She's freaked out. That's it. I scratch my back and away we go. Okay, good morning, everybody. On a Monday morning, the World Series starts, and I got some football notes for you. How about that? Can't let the football people down. So we have some football notes, and we'll get right to it with some football. And the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles, boy, they allowed 21 first-half points or more. I think one of the games was more, maybe two. But in back-to-back games, they won 21 first halves without giving up those kind of points. Okay? They allowed 21 points in the first half in two of their previous 50 games, and now they've got two in a row. And Ezekiel Elliott now has 574 rushing yards in only 5 games against the Eagles. And that, believe it or not, that's the most through 5 games against the Philadelphia Eagles all time as he went past the great Walter Payton. And Lamar Jackson is turning out to be Player of the Year in the National Football League and in fantasy football. He is the first player in the history of the National Football League to get 100-plus passing yards, 100-plus rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown in back-to-back games. Okay, so look, Lamar Jackson emerging as a top player in fantasy football this year. Good morning to Mal Pal. Good morning to that guy. And good morning to Chloe. All right, so we are rocking and rolling, okay? George and Greg and Mal Pal and Kevin and that guy and Unholy Toledo, thank you so much for coming on with me this morning. Last night, we had a tremendous night. We got here in San Mateo, California, which is only a couple of miles from the San Francisco airport, and met Ray Flowers last night from Sirius Radio, who I have to say it, and I'm not kissing his booty, but he is among the nicest people off the air in the history of my career in fantasy sports. Absolutely. A real what?
He doesn't like you.
He doesn't like me, but I know he likes you. But no, seriously, he was Ray Flowers, a gentleman, not only one of the smartest guys in the industry, but certainly one of the true gentlemen and a real pro. That's all he got, a pro. And we spent a couple hours with Ray, and really a delightful night. So on behalf of Andrea, Ray Flowers, we love you, kid. Thank you so much. Okay, Aaron Rodgers became the third player in the history of the National Football League with 400 or more passing yards, 5 or more passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. Joining, Norm Van Brocklin did it in 1951. Mark Ripien did it in 1991. Fourth game with 4-plus passes as a touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown, most in NFL history, including the postseason. And the 49ers and Redskins, unbelievable. They had 41 net passing yards in the first half. Something's happening. Some of these teams in the National Football League just aren't doing it offensively. The fewest combined net passing yards at halftime in any game in the National Football League since 2011. Broncos and the Chiefs. Remember those years where they both had tremendous defenses? And Dak Prescott, 15 career games now with at least one passing touchdown and one rushing touchdown. He breaks a tie for with Roger Staubach for the most passing touchdowns and rushing touchdowns in consecutive games. Okay, 15. Okay, and Teddy Bridgewater, man, oh man, Teddy Bridgewater, 16-2 as an underdog, the best mark by any quarterback. Look, he's 9-9. So if you're betting, you take a look at Teddy Bridgewater, and 9-9 straight up in those games, 4-0 this year, but his career 16-2 as the underdog. And of course, the Vikings defeated the Lions 42-30, 337 passing yards, 4 touchdowns by Kirk Cousins, and he becomes now the first Viking quarterback to throw 4 passing touchdowns in consecutive games. The last Viking quarterback to throw 4 touchdowns, passing touchdowns. Donkey Oki has joined us. Good morning to the Donkey Oki. The last Viking quarterback to do it was Dante Culpepper. How about that one? So, remember Dante? I remember his Inferno. Okay, Dante Culpepper. And the 49ers have become the biggest team, 6-0 for the first time since 1990. If you remember, Joe Montana, I think it was Joe Montana, he was the quarterback. He was the MVP that year. They've held their opponent to under 180 yards now, 3 straight games, okay? That's the longest streak since 2011. And that's the football news of the day, okay? Football news, Ray Flowers news, and now we're back to baseball, okay? And the Yankees, first decade since the 1910s that the franchise has not appeared in the World Series. How about that one? That's right. And now the Yankee season is over. So all the New York sports fans, including myself, can now turn fully to the New York Football Giants and the New York Jets. Either one. Oh, crap. Oh, I was telling Ray last night, I kind of, being so knee-deep into fantasy baseball and fantasy sports, there's a danger of losing your fandom, your ability to be just a real fan of a team, know everything about the team, including their prospects and everything. Of course, in fantasy baseball, we do that, but you lose a little bit of the fandom of your team. I've always been anxious to get back to that, but I got to tell you something. Football in New York, it's tough. The Yankees won 921 games from 2010 to 2019. Okay, there you go. So, there we go. Aloha, everyone, okay? Aloha. George is claiming Unholy Toledo's his real father. Okay, there you go. Moving right along. There've only been 4 walk-off home runs that ended a postseason series at a game 6 or 7. Mazeroski, 1906. Joe Carter did it. Aaron Boone, remember that game? Game 7, 2003? And Altuve, unbelievable. Where are you drafting Altuve this year? Next year? Where are you? First round? Second round? Third round? Where are you going to draft Altuve? I put a poll up on Twitter and Facebook. The consensus, of course, says second round. Not a surprise there. Walk-off home runs that have ended the LCS or World Series. Mazeroski. You got Chambliss at the ALCS. Carter. Maglio Ordonez. Travis Ishikawa did it in the 2014 NL Championship Series. And Aroldis Chapman has allowed 1 career postseason home run. Okay? And that was to Rajah Davis. So how about that? And the third time there was a game-tying home run in the 9th inning or later of the postseason in Game 6. Carl Furillo, Billy Hatcher, and DJ LeMahieu does it against the Astros. LeMahieu, of course, really has to be considered the best free agent pickup in the offseason. Is there a better free... I need this for my poll tomorrow, so give me some competition. Who is the best free agent pickup this year in the offseason? DJ LeMahieu has to be up there, okay? Big time. If you don't mind, throw in a couple of more so I could create a poll for that either this afternoon or tomorrow, okay? Aloha. Bold prediction, bad calls on balls and strikes will impact the outcome. How about that? All right? Yeah, Bill Mazeroski's in the Hall of Fame. As it was a favor to somebody. I don't know the whole story, but, he kind of skews it. Great defensive player, but not there. Yeah, LeMahieu could be the American League's most valuable player. We will try to make your show. We're heading to Half Moon Bay tonight. We're having dinner with Howard Bender. A couple other people supposed to be there. So, Nick Ski, remember Nick, who had taken some time off from doing his podcast. So we're excited. We're going to have a nice night. And then we head up the coast to Portland to Arnie is here. Good morning. Arnie coming on right after this show. Right after. So, yeah, we're heading up to Portland. We're heading up to Medford to see Danny Gilbert coming up. That's right. It's going to be good. Andy's going to work for a couple hours, all right? So Nelson Cruz, great pickup as well. Good one. That was great. Thank you. The Game 6 with the Yankees and Astros was the first time teams played in two different cities on back-to-back days with no travel. It was among the dumbest things ever to arrive in Houston in the morning, have to play in an evening game in 2007, okay? Yep, they're yes, 1-2 favorites, okay? And the Nationals are 2-1 underdogs. So it's going to be, who do you like? Who do you like with the odds? The Nationals or the Astros? Astros are 1-2. The Nationals are 2-1. MLB, now, they're talking about a radical plan that will restructure the minor leagues. I'm not really sure what it is. We're going to do some research on it. As many as 40. Yeah, there's a lot of minor league teams that will find their status changed or be eliminated, and that is horrible. That is not good. We love the minor league games. We went to see a number of them, including the Toledo Mud Hens. We saw the Harrisburg Nationals, or Senators, whatever they're called. And then we saw South Bend, the South Bend Cubs. Love minor leagues. Love it. So MLB is going to propose a radical plan to restructure minor league baseball. 40 or more teams are going to be affected. By the way, the Braves announced that first baseman Freddie Freeman will undergo arthroscopic right elbow surgery this Wednesday. They removed some fragmented loose bodies, cleaned up multiple bone spur formations. He's expected, that word expected pops in there, he's expected to be ready for spring training. Okay? There you go. Andrea says, Leonard, I'm outside. Okay, Andrea has left the building. Andrea is, I'm telling you, I love her. There's no secret, but she is one of a kind. No question about it. I mean, she walks around here, everything. It's just bad. It's just, it's good, it's bad, it's good. Okay, anyway, moving right along. We have to, I'm not big on the umpires. I don't claim to know. Back in the day when I was a kid, the baseball cards, they used to have umpire cards. Now, this was the Bowman, with the TV. And you got to know the umpires. And they were a little bit more identifiable. When we found out that veteran Major League umpire Eric Cooper passed away at age 52, very highly respected umpire very hard worker. He was very popular. He served as a very important voice of the MLB's Umpires Association on some very important issues. So let's just take a second to realize not only how lucky we are, but our condolences on the death of Eric Cooper. Brad Peacock made his 85th start, including postseason, 7 pitches, tied for the fewest innings in the first inning of any of those starts. He also did it on May 2nd this year against the Twins, and he did it another time in 2017. 85th start for Brad Peacock. First time in 20 years that neither starting pitcher lasted 2 innings in a postseason game, and that goes back to 1999 with the Red Sox and the Yankees. Kent Mercker and Bartolo Colon were the 2 starting pitchers. So first time in 20 years, neither starting pitcher lasted 2 innings in a postseason game, okay? And it was the 7th game in postseason history where neither starter went a full 2 innings pitched. It's the first such game since 1999, as I said, Indians and Red Sox. That's when the Red Sox won 23-7. Of the 7 games, by the way, I believe the Yankees have been involved in a lot of them. I would say 4 or 5 of the 7 involve the Yankees. Now, with the opener being used in the World Series, look, the Yankees are 12-6 when they use an opener. 12-6 when they use an opener. All right, 2 questions for you. Number 1, Nelson Cruz, DJ LeMahieu, 2 great free agent pickups. Could you give me some more? We're going to have a poll to ask who is the best free agent pickup, and I think LeMahieu is going to get the nod, but Unholy Toledo really did a good job in throwing out Nelson Cruz. DK Lush has joined us. Good morning to the great, the powerful DK Lush. Thank you so much. Again, Unholy Toledo, that guy, Kevin Malpal. Kevin at 11 today. Kevin's at 11. George, Dunkioki, DK Lush, Arnie, Greg, and somewhere is Andrea. Somewhere. Andrea, adorable. Okay, the Astros sent. Oh, there you were. Sent Ademas Diaz to the plate for struggling Yordan Alvarez. Okay, Alvarez was 1 for 21, just as Andrea said when we were watching it. 11 strikeouts and was out a home run since September 21st. The stock of Yordan Alvarez has really fallen. So now, let me ask the same question that I asked 2 weeks ago. Who would you rather have for next year? Yordan Alvarez or Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? Now, that poll was put up last week, and it was lopsided in favor of Alvarez. Now that he's 1 for 21 with 11 strikeouts, is it still Alvarez over Vlad? Very interesting question, and a lot of the polls that I put up merely show how things can fluctuate with the opinions in fantasy baseball. Dr. Z, Zelmo, has joined us. Good morning. Great turnout today in the chat room. I love you all. You too, Andy. All right? But not as much as the chat room. Tommy Canley, or Canley, whatever. How do you pronounce his name? Yeah, Tommy Conley, Canley Conley, was used for the first time this year on 3 consecutive days. And what happens? Analytics tell the story. He comes in, he walks the first batter. I don't get it. All right? And we've seen some great plays. You know, the Astros, we talk about their pitching, talk about their hitting, but they made 100, they had 326 chances to make what they call a non-routine play. Okay? Non-routine. They can call it a great play. They made 119 non-routine plays out of 326 chances. Now, that's over 36%. The Major League average is just over 26%. So the Astros, they make those plays. They make them. Non-routine plays, Astros make them. That separates the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's for sure. Grandal, Yasmani Grandal. Great one. Andy, could you write this down? Cruz, Grandal, and LeMahieu. Who was the best free agent signing? Thank you. I got 3 good ones now. If you got any more, throw them at me. Great stuff. Grandal, Cruz, and DJ LeMahieu. Name the best free agent starter, okay? There you go. The Nationals. This will be the 6th World Series between teams with 2 top teams, with the two teams being 1 and 2 in starting pitcher strikeouts in the regular season. Back in 2001, Diamondbacks and the Yankees. So the 2 teams in starting pitcher strikeouts during the regular season going to be in the World Series. The Nats were 2nd in starters ERA. The Astros were 3rd. This will be the first ever World Series between teams that were both top 3 starters in ERA in the regular season. The last time it happened was 1981. The Dodgers and the Yankees. The Dodgers won it, but very rare. The Yankees and the Dodgers did it in 1981, and this year the Nationals, 2nd in starters ERA. The Astros are 3rd. And Joe Smith has pitched in almost 800 regular season games, 780 something. But he has never pitched in a World Series game. And that's the most among active pitchers who have not appeared in a World Series game. And that'll change next week. Unbelievable. Joe Smith, 782 regular season games. No other pitcher has as many games without appearing in a World Series. Now that's a great trivia question, and I blew it. Okay. Yes, I really did. What's that?
How'd you blow it?
I should have given it as a trivia question. Giovanni Urshela came over in a trade. That should put him on that list. All right. Yep. Patrick Corbin, arguably the most impact because his team is in the World Series. It's great. Good morning to White Sox Al. Look at this chat room. Look at this chat room on an October 21st. Incredible. Thank you, guys. Love you all. Once again, Dan G tomorrow. Then we got John Garofalo. Seeing my high school buddy, Scott. And where are we seeing him?
In Eugene.
In Eugene, Oregon. And then up to Seattle for to Andy's mom's. That'll be a little bit of a respite as we have traveled from New York across the country to L.A. We didn't do it straight across the country. Started in New York, wound up in L.A. That's horizontally across the country. Now we're going up to Seattle in the upper left-hand corner, and then we're going down to the lower right-hand corner. We're going from Angie's. She's pulling her pants down, everybody. We should look. We were in a hotel together. All right. We should be doing this on like Facebook Live. What? Now she's flashing. This is a great podcast for me. Howie Kendrick and Jose Altuve, both second basemen, and both League Championship Series MVP in 2019. How about that? The only year where second baseman won multiple postseason MVP awards. And it happened in 1980. Frank White and Manny Trio. Remember Manny Trio? Yep. I think he played for the Cubs. And Frank White for Kansas City. Altuve, first second baseman ever to win both regular season MVP and a postseason round MVP as well. How about that? And what a great season for Yuli Gurriel. He had a home run. It was his third three-run homer in the postseason. That's tied for second most in the postseason history with 5 other players. The only other player with more three-run homers in the postseason is who? This isn't a trivia question. Who is the only other player with more than 3 three-run home runs in the postseason in history? Okay? Andrea says Max Muncy. You were wrong. Okay? Gurriel has 3 three-run homers in the postseason. His others were Game 5 off of Kershaw and Game 1 off of Workman. Anybody want to come up with the only other player who has 4 three-run homers in the postseason? Who is the only player to do that? Not Mickey Mantle. Nope, not Reggie Jackson. Doug Boyle has made it into the chat room. Good morning to Doug. It's not big, not Reggie, not Mickey. Who?
Lenny Ramirez.
Ladies and gentlemen, Andrea got it right. Now, I don't know if you heard what she said, but I will give, look, she didn't look it up. She's laying on the bed, smoking a pipe. I don't know what you're doing. Let me tell you, it sounds good. Nobody wants to live my life. I'm telling you right now, okay? If Doug guesses Reggie, it has to be him. The answer, Manny Ramirez. Manny Ramirez has 4 three-run homers. How about that one? Here's one for you. The Nationals in October have scored 45 runs. The Washington Redskins in October have scored 24 points. Shouldn't it be the other? Shouldn't Washington have more points? Shouldn't the Redskins have more points than the Nationals? I think so. Redskins, 24 points in October. The Nationals, 45 runs. That's awesome. And entering today, the Astros. Look, if there's a World Series game that goes to a point where the Astros are winning by 3 or more runs, they're 88-2 when they're leading by 3 or more runs. Oh, she's laughing at me because I'm sitting with my pants off and my belly hanging out. She's laughing at me. I swear to God. If I sent you a picture, Andy, I'll bet you, as beautiful as she is, most of you would turn your head. Okay? Let's put it that way. Now, the other thing, they are 50-0 at home when they're leading by 3 or more. I'm telling you, this podcast should not be aired. I don't know what to do. It could be only heard by the glorious people in the chat room. Yeah. So the Astros 88-2 and they're up by 3 or more runs, and at home they're 50-0. Okay, Doug Boyle's next guest was Pablo Sandoval. Anyway, listen, you guys. Again, we saw Arnie is coming on next, so get ready, Arnie. Get ready. Arnie coming on, he says, right after I finish, so here we go.
Hi, Arnie.
There you go. George says he's lost 30 pounds in the last couple of months, and that's like dropping a deck chair off the Titanic, okay?
I've actually gained 30 pounds.
Andy you didn't lose it, George. We found it. So it's not lost. Andy's borrowing it. This woman, now yesterday we had a great lunch, okay? So we're sitting we come to the hotel, and our room is not ready. Now this is a big Holiday Inn, okay? Why we stayed here, I have no freaking idea. We got a free room on Hotels.com. So, and we, are real close to Ray Flowers. Anyway, so we have to wait outside in the park, and there's nothing to do here. No place to go. You can't walk. So we're in the parking lot, sitting on a park bench. Go to Facebook, you'll see the picture. It says no parking. We're in a parking spot that says no parking, and it's got a bench in it. And Andy orders food. All of a sudden, this guy gets out of his car, and he says, I have tacos and burritos and bean dip. So it was meant for both of us. Next thing I knew, Andy ate it all. All. What'd you order? Tacos, burritos, whatever. And then last night, we were getting ready to go out with Ray. I can't go. I'm bloated. Are you kidding me?
I'm the only one that gets it.
Anyway, so she promised to go on a diet, and she didn't say when. That's the thing. Arnie, I love you, man. Coming up next, Greg, thank you for opening up. DK Lush, Dunkey great, good job. Doug Boyle, George, on tonight. What time? 6:30, I think. Is that the time? Malpal, still can't get over you and your wife, man. Thank you. Kevin, one of the greatest 3 days I've ever had. Meeting Kevin out in Arizona next year. Just prepare, everybody. White Sox Al, Zelmo, and Holy. We're all going to the first pitch forum in Arizona. We're all going to the Arizona Fall League. Doug Boyle, you're included. You can stay with us, Doug. Yeah, Doug Boyle. And Chloe's coming. All right, next year, Doug Boyle's going to... I will get 2 queen-size beds for Doug Boyle. George, love you, George. Malpal, the greatest. That guy with Chloe, White Sox Al, Zelmo, and of course, the greatest guy I've ever met, Unholy Toledo. He really is. Thank you all. I know I'm cutting this a little short, but that's what the Moyle said to me at my bris. Same thing. Andy doesn't get. Do you get that?
Yes, I get it.
Yeah, dummy. Okay. Okay. Jewish jokes. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow. Where will we be? I don't know. And it's very possible that Arnie will be here tomorrow morning. That's a treat. Arnie coming up next.